rightly administered, laws are enacted, and judgment is decreed. Assist with your spirit of counsel and fortitude President-elect Donald J. Trump. May he always seek the ways of righteousness, justice, and mercy. Grant that he may be enabled by your power, protection to lead our country with honesty and integrity. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. Thank you. We're gonna start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. So, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Martina McBride.
Oh, so can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Now, when we decided to get together today, this was very last minute. We actually had brought a screen, and we were going to play a couple snippets of a couple events that occurred. Remember back in June of 2015 when Donald Trump came down the escalator of the Trump Tower, and he announced to the world that he was going to become president of the United States. And what chance did they give him at that time? About zero, correct? Well, I think we can play a little snippet of that. We don't have we weren't able to set up the screen. We did set up the screen, but unfortunately with the bright sun and our equipment didn't work quite right. So
you have to keep talking because I need to find the...
That's okay. You know I can do that. So anyway, while we start here, my name is Tom Carroll. And a lot of you know me from the flash mobs that we did. I am also the Bethlehem Republican City Chairperson. And we worked very hard with a lot of people on the ground to create those flash mobs, but also there was a lot of door knocking that was done, a lot of phone calls that were made. And I want to introduce you to a couple people that were here through the last numerous months, working numerous hours. And the first one I want to introduce you to is Tony Simeo, who was the one that created Pennsylvanians for Trump 2016 on Facebook, and he's going to say a few words to you.
Thank you, everybody. Is it a great day to be American? Yeah, it is. My name's Tony Simeo, and I know some of you know me, some of you probably not. I was actually born in Portugal. I came to America in 1985 when I was 8 years old. So the very first, thank you. So the very first president that I knew was Ronald Reagan. He had just been elected to a second term, been sworn in. I came here legally. My parents came to America with 3 suitcases, 2 children, and $1,000 in their pocket. And we achieved the American dream because we had a conservative president that knew America was the greatest country in the world. He got rid of communism, brought down a wall, and brought the world together. And for over 30 years after Reagan, I think we've been looking for another Reagan. A couple of years ago, Glenn Beck said that America needed another George Washington. And we'd be shocked to find out who the next George Washington is going to be. For 12 years, I've been waiting for Donald Trump to run for president because I knew that if he ran, he'd win. He promised to make America great again, but I'm here to tell you, it's going to be a little bit easier to make America great again now that Donald Trump's won and not Hillary. But it's not going to get itself great again. I need every single one of you to keep going. We need to fight back. We need to get into local government. We need to continue talking to our friends and neighbors about what we're going to do to make America great again and work hard. So I want to thank Tom Carroll, who knew a couple of years ago that he'd be a community organizer, and the chair of the Northampton County Republican Committee, Lee Snover, who worked extremely hard in getting all sides to come together.
I'm actually going to ask Lee to come up. Lee, will you come up now?
To all sides to come together and support the candidate that was elected by the people. So I want to thank her and ask her to come up and speak to all of you as well. Thank you.
I just want to thank Tom and Tony for putting this together, and I really give them a lot of credit for having the ideas and the flash mob. It was absolutely wonderful. But here's what happened. When I became chairman of the Republican Party, I told everyone, if I can't unify the party, I'm going to resign. And I was determined to unify the party. And I felt that unity when Donald Trump announced that he was running for president. I felt it. I had intuition. I was on board immediately. I was an original Trumper. And the reason I felt he could bring unity is because I think he represented all Americans. His policies and what he was running on, to me, was resonating with everyone. And I really thought he could make America great again. And I really felt it. And I had some criticism, and I understood why, because people couldn't understand me. They were saying, they couldn't see it. But it was difficult to see in the beginning, but the more and more he talked about his policies, the stronger he got, the stronger the message got. And I think it's a message of America. And I just want to thank everyone who was involved. A lot of people do not know that there was such criticism that Trump didn't have a ground game, or Republicans didn't have a ground game, but we really did. We weren't talking about it. I mean, the Morning Call had called me like 3 or 4 weeks out and asked me what the ground game was. I said, well, I'm not going to tell you. I mean, to me, this was a secret weapon, what we were doing. And what our real weapon was, and the secret ingredient, was unity, because we had the flash mob and the Tea Party working tirelessly. We had the Republican Party of Pennsylvania. The state party was all in for Donald Trump. They were working tirelessly. The local committee, the local Republican Party, was working tirelessly. On election day, we had over 300 volunteers at the polls, besides a door-to-door plan and a phone plan. And no one saw that coming. So the credit goes to you. When I filed for the volunteer watcher certificates in the voter registration election office, they said that was the most that had ever been requested. They were blown away. We requested more than the Democrats and more than had ever been requested. That's how many people were united in working on election day. So it was just unbelievable. I had the feeling. I knew that morning. I just had a really great feeling. I had peace about it all day. However, it was intense. I don't know if you know this, but Northampton County was reporting to Trump Tower all day. What you may not know is Northampton County was a highly watched county. We were a bellwether county, and they had to have Northampton County to win. No president has been in the Oval Office since 1952 without Northampton County. So they knew it. And they were watching certain polls, and I was reporting to them all day, intense reporting of what was going on in each poll. They knew exactly how much turnout and how many votes they needed from certain precincts. So on election night, when they called Northampton County, they called Northampton County before they called the state of PA. I knew we had won. So the state party was huddled around, the party chairman, Rob Gleason, and his staff were huddled around the TV waiting on Northampton County to come in because that was the decision maker. And it was funny, they said the guy read off Northampton just went red, and he said, "No, you mean Northumberland." He goes, "No, I mean Northampton." And they all started cheering. They did it. So, I mean, I just don't even realize, if you know what a significant role our county played in electing Donald Trump as president. Give yourselves another hand. So where do we go from here? A couple things. I really call on you to stay unified with this group right here. Also, I would ask that you spend a great deal of time reaching out to the younger generation, because I need you to think about that. You know, may those that come behind us find us faithful. And we need to reach out to them and teach them our principles, our values, what we believe in, the less government, why it works, the great things about America, where we came from, who we are, what we believe, and where we're going. We have to continue to preach the message of faith, family, and freedom to the younger generation. That is where it's at. So again, I want to thank all of you. You were all so tireless, and everyone was very positive. And you know, we put out over 10,000 signs in Northampton County, over 3,000 buttons. I mean, the materials were out the door. On election day, there was absolutely nothing left. So it was just a wonderful grassroots effort. And I say grassroots, ground up. So again, thank you again, and we appreciate you coming out.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. I want to introduce you to one more person, and then we'll get into a few other things. And again, God bless America. Thank you all for coming out. But I want to introduce you to Tom Campione. He is the chairman of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party, and he'll have a few words to say to us.
Just a few words. I'd really just like to say that I'm so proud of everybody who's here today. We all fought really, really hard. Probably harder than any of us have fought so far in our lives for this country. And we did it. We won. We won the battle. However, we have not yet won the war. I really have to caution you, and I want to echo Tom's words and Tony's words. You're going to hear more from Tom about it again. But, you know, the left, they're not going to surrender. They have not surrendered. They will not surrender. They do not stop. They will not give up. And this time, we need to be there, ready and prepared and in the trenches, doing the difficult work that needs to be done again. You know, I'm an old man now. I can tell you that so much of my life, I did not pay attention to politics and to government. And I think a lot of us in my generation did the same. We were busy. We were raising our families and paying our mortgages and all that stuff, but we weren't paying attention. And look what happened. Our government was nearly stolen from us. So I ask you all here who have been in the fight, please stay in the fight. We need fighters. If you can't fight, donate. If you're not a fighter, fund a fighter. Everybody here, pick one of the organizations. There are 3 organizations represented here today. The Republican Action Team, which is a PAC, the Northampton County GOP, who you've just heard from, and the Lehigh Valley Tea Party. We all have a place for you if you would like to help, and we hope that you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So Tom's going to set up a little video. Like I said, unfortunately, due to the sun being so bright here, our screen didn't able to project it so anybody could see it. But he's going to play the one of the speeches that Donald Trump gave. It's very brief. It's the day when he came out and toward the end of his speech when he announced that he was going to be running for president. And as soon as he gets that going, I'll interrupt myself here. But
and I can tell you, some of the candidates, they went in, they didn't know the air conditioner didn't work. They sweated like dogs. They didn't know the room was too big because they didn't have anybody there. How are they going to beat ISIS? I don't think it's going to happen. Our country is in serious trouble. We don't have victories anymore. We used to have victories, but we don't have them. When was the last time?
I have to advance us. Sorry, folks.
all right, when that's doing, I'll just go on. So I don't want to keep you guys here too long because I know we have NFL football and other things going on with our families. Sunday's an important day for a lot of reasons for a lot of people. If you're Italian, I know you have your Italian family dinners on Sunday and all those kind of things go on.
Escaped.
There we go.
And nobody knows where they are. And a woman was on television this morning, and she said, you know, Mr. Trump, and she was telling other people, and I actually called her. But she said, you know, Mr. Trump, I always was against guns. I didn't want guns. And now, since this happened, it's up in the prison area. My husband and I are finally in agreement because he wanted the guns. We now have a gun on every table. We're ready to start shooting. I said, very interesting. So protect the Second Amendment. End Common Core. Common Core it is a disaster. Bush is totally in favor of Common Core. I don't see how he can possibly get the nomination. He's weak on immigration. He's in favor of Common Core. How the hell can you vote for this guy? You just can't do it. We have to end. Education has to be local. Rebuild the country's infrastructure. Nobody can do that like me. Believe me. It will be done on time, on budget, way below cost, way below what anyone ever thought. I look at these roads being built all over the country, and I say, I can build those things for 1/3. What they do is unbelievable. How bad? You know, we're building on Pennsylvania Avenue, the old post office. We're converting it into one of the world's great hotels. It's going to be the best hotel in Washington, D.C. We got it from the General Services Administration in Washington. The Obama administration. We got it. It was the most highly sought after, or one of them, but I think the most highly sought after project in the history of General Services. We got it. People were shocked. Trump got it. Well, I got it for 2 reasons. Number one, we're really good. Number two, we had a really good plan. And I'll add in the third, we had a great financial statement. Because the General Services, who are terrific people, by the way, and talented people, they wanted to do.
You see, what he was talking about, even though it went into the weeds a little bit, was bringing pragmatism back to Washington. Basically, it developed into a campaign where he talked about draining the swamp because we had lost our way, because we didn't understand, or our people in Washington that we sent from both political parties had decided that limited government based on individual liberty and freedom didn't mean anything. And all that was important to them was their power in getting reelected. So what they threw down our throats over the last several generations was a country that had 95 million Americans unemployed, 47 million people on welfare, and the story goes on and on. 1 in 5 families had nobody working. That's why he ran. That's why we all went out and worked so hard, because we see what's going on. With such division in our cities, they say that they need to take away our Second Amendment because, you know, guns are killing people. Well, look, the cities that have the strictest gun control laws in the nation, like Chicago, have the most violence. This man stood up and he spoke politically incorrect, which was why we asked God to bless him and why we asked God to bless America, because it was time that we spoke out and we said that this political correct garbage is destroying a nation. A sovereign nation must have secure borders. Without secure borders, we cannot have a sovereign nation. He didn't say he didn't want immigrants. He said he wants them to come in legally. He didn't say we don't want people to be Muslim in America. He didn't say he was going to kick out citizens of America. What he said was we need to vet Muslim immigrants or refugees to make sure that they're not coming here to impose Sharia law. Sharia law is contrary to the very principles that founded this country. The country that was founded was the most prosperous nation on the face of the earth that brought the most freedom. We had 600,000 people die in the 19th century to end slavery. We had another 450,000 men and women die in World War II to stop socialism. The progressive socialist movement that they, in the name of all sorts of things, killed 100 million people across the world in the 20th century. We had to put a stop to it. We did. We slowed it down in 1980, but we lost our way because we forgot to keep educating our youth. So Rally Nov has it exactly right here. So why we're here today is we just want to remember some words. We want to congratulate everybody for all the hard work that they did for this election, like Lee was saying, and there's so much more to that. I mean, people doing all sorts of things. There's all sorts of people. I look out at faces here, and I don't want to start naming names, but I see so many people that I know that were forgoing their work even and making phone calls and knocking on doors and going to rallies and traveling across the state to do all these things. When Lincoln was president, he said that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. Once again, the party of Lincoln came to America's rescue. Isn't that true? Not with bullets, but with ballots. We won. We don't rub that in anybody's face, because through the grace of God and through all of our hard work, Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. Thank God. Our nation was conceived in liberty and freedom based on the rule of law and the Constitution, where the government's only role is to protect individual rights. So now, he's come to Washington to say, I want to eliminate all of these needless federal regulations, bureaucracy, and things that are destroying our economy. I want to create a sovereign nation, secure our borders. We have a lot of people that are lying about what these things mean. They're telling, through the media, the complicit media that is not telling the truth about anything, that we all hate everybody. We don't want people because they're women, or because they're gay, or because they're Hispanic. We're misogynistic, xenophobic, racist, and they are going to fight, like Tom Campione said, at every turn. So what does that mean? Why are we here today? Because we wanted to thank everyone for all the hard work. We wanted to celebrate a little bit and just, peacefully express that we were here, and we want to encourage everyone to understand that the job is not over. And the job is not over. That means coming into 2017, we have local elections. Our local governments are filled with progressives who want to take their power, raise your taxes, and don't understand that they are getting in the way of our freedom and our economy. So you need to engage. We have 2017 elections coming up, the school boards, city councils, mayors, borough councils, all of these things. We need to be involved, because that's the pushback that we have to give to the people in Washington, to our congressmen. Unfortunately, we have a congressman here in the 15th that stayed never Trump, and he's even announced after this election that he's going to fight against Trump. Well, we have to send him a message too, that we're not going to tolerate that. We sent him there. He's our representative, and we need to talk to that man and tell him that he's to be in Washington to help the people and not destroy what we brought to America. So, Tom, did we have another clip? Tom's going to cue up another clip here, and I'm going to say that in terms of that, one of the biggest issues is immigration, and we're going to talk a little bit about that briefly.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. Complicated. Thank you very much.
This was at like 3 o'clock in the morning the other day. We remember that. How many of you were up that morning at that time? Right?
I
You couldn't
just
go to bed, could you?
received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign. I mean, she fought very hard. Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time, and we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely. Now it's time for America to bind the wounds of division, have to get together. To all Republicans and Democrats and independents across this nation, I say it is time for us to come together as one united people. It's time. I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be president for all Americans, and this is so important to me. For those who have chosen not to support me in the past, of which there were a few people, I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country. As I've said from
As much as I'd like to play the whole speech, I don't think we want to stand here for 15 more minutes. Did you hear the humility in what he said? That we all have to be humble as well. We all have to turn to God still every day and continue to be humble. Reach out to our neighbors and our friends and our family members and our coworkers who don't understand. Tell them the truth about what's going on. Show them through example that we are not the racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, horrible people that they say we are. We know we're not, and through example we will prove them wrong. I forgot to say one thing is that I have been blessed personally in my life by so many things. I have tremendous parents who gave me great examples, and I want to thank them. And my mother's here today, so I want to thank her for all that she did for me and the messages that she gave to me and how she kept me straight on the right path through life. It wasn't always an easy task, as you could imagine. But I want to say that in terms of some of the issues that we have to be watching out for, they need to go after the corruption. They may not need to prosecute Hillary Clinton, but they have to investigate the fraud that was the voter fraud and the stuff that came out on the WikiLeaks and the Veritas videos, because they are going to use that same fraud and that mechanism to go after us for the 2018 election cycle, and it's not going to end. So we need to stay aware and be continuing to be educated on the issues. That's why I think organizations like the Lehigh Valley Tea Party exist, because we form an education about limited government. That's why organizations like the Northampton County Republican Committee exist, because they try to get good candidates to run for office. So we're separate organizations, but we work together in terms of principles and values. And I just want to let everyone know that in terms of the immigration, we have an interesting speaker coming up on December 1st, Michael Cutler, a former INS agent, who's going to be speaking at December 1st at the Starlight Ballroom Social Hall. That's Fearless Fire Company. We have some handouts there, so you don't have to remember this, but that's in Allentown at 7 p.m. on Thursday, December 1st. Those meetings are important because we engage, we get a plan of action once we hear a speaker. On the last Thursday night, right before the election, we had Dolly Kyle here, who was Bill Clinton's longtime girlfriend, who came and told us the truth about who the Clintons are and what they did. So I don't want to wrap this up on a negative note, but we have to stay aware and strong, and you all need to thank yourselves, thank your neighbors, thank your friends, thank the leaders of the various organizations, because like Rally Nov said, if it wasn't for the work of all the people that are here, Pennsylvania would not have gone red, and if Pennsylvania didn't go red, we wouldn't have had Donald Trump as president. So God bless everybody. Thank you for coming out today. And let's have a little bit of a chant, like build a wall or something here, or drain the swamp or something, all right? Lock her up. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. You know what I like to do here? Let's get everybody to back this way, and we can get a picture of everybody. We can get a little live video and a picture of everybody that showed up today.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with gold. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
How about some chanting here? USA! 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 Oh, here, shut this thing off.